नमस्सर्वेभ्यः आदरणीय आरती जी, आदरणीय किरण कुमार जी, आदरणीय Aditi ji, and all the distinguished members in this conclave. In a lighter vein, Arti ji said that word mythic should be dispensed. Myth. So if myth is dispensed, what about me? I am the president of the Mythic Society. We had the same problem. When we celebrated the centenary of Mythic Society, we wanted to know why our society has been named as the Mythic Society. Then we approached a professor of English, Ramaswamy, who was also a professor at Cambridge. He is an English professor and he was staying in Malleshwaram after his retirement. He came to a lecture there and I asked him why our society has been named as Mythic Society. He said, 60, 70 years ago, the meaning of the mythic in English language was totally different. Beyond history, things that have happened beyond history. That is why, for his talk, he gave the topic as the mythopoeic journey of India. So that is the lighter vein, that's all. And the theme of this My Bharat conclave today is Vikasit Bharat 2047. It is Vikasit Bharat. And from morning itself, you have heard about our civilization, our constitution, our development. Just now, Kiran Kumar ji and Aditi, Aarti ji, they all spoke about how India is developing and growing. All this resurgence of our country, all these things has been placed before you. But one thing we should remember here, we have not only we, even the government of Bharat has called this as Vikasit Bharat 2047. It is not Vikasit India. It is Vikasit Bharat. Because even though India is more in a more popular usage, we have put it as Vikasit Bharat only. Because the moment you say India, the word India denotes and immediately it comes to our mind about our subjugation under the British and prior to British rule. India refers to our vociferous tendencies like caste, creed, language, so many vociferous tendencies India names. India means it is the colonial era. India means it is the India immediately after our independence. So this is the thing. And the subjugation, it was not only political and economical, the subjugation was beyond that, and subjugation was there to destroy our culture and civilization, the very soul of our country. But they were not succeeded in it, but they made a dent. And this dent created a sort of inferiority complex in us in all fields, especially in the fields of science and technology, governance, and we always felt that inferior when compared to various other countries. And in that light, today's conclave is very good because from morning, people have spoken about how confidently we are growing. So that is the most important aspect. And when we use the word Bharat, what comes to our mind? It connects us to the immemorial civilization, culture, nation, and every aspect that is noble and appreciated by the world about our country. So that is why it is Vikasit Bharat. That is how it has been. And another aspect is that Bharat connects us to our Vedic civilization, Vedic culture, and also Emperor Bharata. All this comes to our mind when we say it is Bharat. So that is why it is Vikasit Bharat. I don't know at what time our country's name will be completely changed to Bharat from instead of India. It may happen. Ultimately, probably, I don't know what is after Gen Z, then Alpha, or then Alpha, then Beta, then Gamma. There may be so many things. But at what generation this change takes place, we don't know. It may take place now itself also. That's a different aspect of it. And as I said, Bharat represents another aspect. As I said, India represents vociferous tendencies also. Bharat represents another aspect. There is a Sanskrit shloka, Uttaram yat samudrasya himadraschaiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharati yatra santatihi. It clearly says, from north to the seas, the land is called Bharata. And not only that, it clearly mentions people who are living in this land are Bharati. Bharati yatra santatihi. That is the next aspect. They are the children of this land. So the whole country is one. That concept and all these things comes to us when we use the word Bharat. During the period of our subjugation, our internal strength, because that is the most important thing. As every human being has an internal strength, a nation also will have an internal strength. When it is blooming, when it is blossoming, the whole internal strength will be at its pinnacle. When there is a subjugation and a crisis, it may be sometimes extinguished, and it did not happen. In our case, it was dormant, it was a glimmer. Now, for the past couple of decades, we are glowing. So, that is the most important thing. Swami Vivekananda, he saw this one. I will just quote what he said. One minute. Vivekananda, when he landed at Ramnath in Tamil Nadu in 1887, he said, in his first speech itself, Vivekananda said, the longest night seems to be passing away. The sorest trouble seems to be coming to an end at last. She is awakening, that is Bharat. She is awakening this motherland of ours from our deep, long sleep. No outward powers can hold her back anymore, for the infinite giant is rising to her feet. This is what Swami Vivekananda said about our country. So, today we see so much development taking place. The achievements in the materialist field. Just now, Aditi has told about how in defense sector we are exporting, and about ISRO and what we have achieved. And during 2019, when there was a COVID problem, we not only invented the vaccine, we were able to distribute freely to 52 countries. So all these things are highly important when compared in science and technology about our country. In sports field also, today also I think we have gained 2 gold medals in Commonwealth Games. So many. Earlier, some 10-15 years ago, any such sport events, probably we were never thought of getting even ordinary medal for that one. Let us not think of gold or silver. Even brass medal was difficult at that time. But now there are more than 20 gold medals we have won this time in the sports field. All these things are in materialistic field only. But what about dharmic field only, for which we are known? Today, the whole world is so much wants to know about our Vedic traditions, our spiritual heritage, and about our yoga. That is why June 21st, the whole world celebrates yoga. Every year, millions of people are celebrating yoga on June 21st. And June 21st also is very special for the whole planet because it is a day of the equinox, and that day both the daylight and night will be 12 hours only, 20 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. Actually, it is not 24 hours, it is 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds. But we take it as 12 hours, and the whole world celebrates that one. And not only that, people are taking so much interest with our Vedic knowledge and spiritual heritage and meditation and so many aspects. Last year, there was a program in NIMHANS, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, one of the premier institutions for mental health and neurosciences. In that institute, there was a conference on consciousness. The consciousness according to the Western world and Western science, that is according to allopathy, they are not able to say anything about consciousness. They don't know how consciousness generates in your mind. Whether it is connected with neurons or connected with the nerves or because of some electrochemical change that takes place in the brain, how conscious is generated is not known. So for that they wanted to know, they wanted to take the help of our Upanishads and also our Brahma Sutras. So that is why to NIMHANS they invited a pontiff from Shankarmat, and there was a discussion between the scientists as well as the Guru, so that they can come out what exactly consciousness is, because modern science cannot define or measure what is consciousness. So much interest has been taken. Such investigations and experiments are being conducted in various universities about our culture, about our heritage and our spiritual traditions. So all these things we are doing. That is why Vivekananda said like that. So now coming to Vikasit Bharat. What exactly is Vikasit Bharat? Sorry for the interpretation. I have to take 11 tablets daily, so because of that. So what exactly is Vikasit Bharat? How Disha fits into it? How all of you are involved in it? All these questions comes to our mind when we think of Vikasit Bharat. Coming back to Swami Vivekananda said, what is his dream of Bharat? In one of his speeches, he said, how Bharat should be? Spiritually awakened, socially harmonious, a repository of knowledge, and economically strong. This is what he said. He took up both the aspects. When we say that there is a development for a country or for a human being, the development should be both Samutkarsha as well as Nishreyas. Samutkarsha is regarding the physical development, that is the materialistic development that we are seeing today and what we see in the Western world. Nishreyas is the spiritual development. So our thousands of years of culture has gone both hand in hand, both materialistically as well as spiritually. We have grown. The wonderful and the most important aspect of our culture and civilization. When I say the Bharat culture or civilization, it means the Hindu culture and the Hindu civilization, because that has existed for 10,000 years and more than 10,000 years. What archaeologists and historians say is, there is only one cultural continuity in the world, one civilizational continuity in the world, that is Bharat. because there were more than 32 civilizations in the world, like Mesopotamian civilization, Assyrian civilization, Egyptian civilization, Greek civilization, Babylonian civilization, so many civilizations. But invasions took place, all were erased. Today, if you go to Mesopotamia, probably some of you may know where Mesopotamia is, between the river Tigris and Euphrates. So that Mesopotamia is today Iraq and part of Middle East. When Arab invasion took place, today everything is erased there, Arabic. Same thing happened to Egypt. The pharaoh's Egypt is not there. Only you will see pyramid and sphinx and nothing else. There is nobody who can speak archaic Egyptian language. You have to learn archaic Egyptian language, you have to go to Cambridge or to Harvard. There is no Egyptologist in Cairo University. That is the state of affairs there. Similarly with Greek, a culture, a civilization which gave Plato, Aristotle, Archimedes, Apollonius, it doesn't exist there now. You see the dilapidated or the debris of the ancient culture there. There are nobody who can study archaic Greek in Athens University, that is in the Greek universities. But we also had so many innovations. We had more than 36 innovations on our country. As I already said, they made a dent, but they could not destroy or erase our country, our culture, our civilization. This was because of three reasons. 3 persons, I should say. One is the warriors who fought valiantly all invasions. Thousands and thousands have sacrificed their life. The second is the great scholars. In spite of all their difficulties, the Vidwansas, they preserved our knowledge. That is why even today we have got that knowledge. And the third is the common people who continues the culture and the tradition. And when I say the common people, especially the women folk, the mothers, they are the people who preserve the culture. Because all culture and all civic sense has been taught to us by our mothers only. I am sure, is it not? So, these 3 persons, they were able to preserve our culture because that we have got the continuity. All the Vedic mantras and other things we perform today, which were recited 5,000 years ago. And even today with the same intonation we are reciting. There is no change. So this is cultural continuity. The values we have preserved even today. Matruvat Paradareshu. It is a value existed for more than thousands of years. So this is cultural continuity. This was possible by whom? As I said, by the people only. So by people, that is, every generation has a task. In history, our mythic society specializes not only in myths but in history and archaeology also. So in history, we say, in archaeology also we say, that at every period of time, there will be an historical necessity. It is the need of the time. It is the internal strength of a society or a nation that sprangs up people who can defend it, who can continue it, who can nurture it. So that is what has happened. So what about our generation and the next generation? As people talk so much of Gen Z generation, all these generations, they have got a task. We have got a task today for our generation. For some of the younger generations, they have a task, a need of the time. This what we have to do. That is for Vikasit Bharat. So as Vivekananda said, spiritually we should be awakened. Spiritual awakening doesn't mean that going to temple, doing puja or performing pujas in our house and all those things. All are part of our spirituality only. There is nothing wrong. But spiritually means how people feel. What is their connection between the land where they are living? What they think about the people around us, the people about the society. There is a beautiful Samskrita sloka. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunancha samanyametat pashurbinaranam dharmo hi tesham adhigo vishesho dharmena hina pashubhit samana. Ahara, food, nidra, sleeping, bhaya, feeling, feeling of fear or afraid, becoming afraid. Maithuna, procreation. These things are common for the animals as well as for the human being. So what is the difference between the human and the animal? Dharma hi tesham adhiko vishesho. It is the concept of dharma. Dharmena hina pashuvis samana. If you don't have dharma, then you are equal to an animal only. No doubt. Biologically, man is also, when I say man, it includes woman also, because man is a generic word in English. So, what is the difference? Biology says I am biological animal, man is also a biological animal. The difference is dharma. Dharma doesn't mean puja and other things. How do you feel about the society? How do you work for the sake of society? How do you consider about the society? This is dharma. There is no word for dharma in any other language. Dharma is dharma. Like we have got so many words like dharma, prasada, tirtha, what we call in English, nothing. Other cultures doesn't have these concepts at all. It is very unique to our culture only. So, this dharma is, that is the greatest thing. That dharma is serving the society. And as I said, serving the society means what is the need of that time. So, as I said, spiritually awakened means we have to think this. How I am going to serve the society? How I am going to serve the nation? And she was talking about our defense sector. When we think of the defense, we should think of the soldiers who are working. The defense personnel. A defense personnel who is at the top of the Himalayas, more than 16,000 feet, guarding our borders, or in the deserts, or on the high seas, or on the high skies. They are risking their life so much. Why do they risk their life so much? Is it for the salary they are getting? Any amount of salary will not motivate you to risk your life. A soldier feels that the weapon in his hand is to guard his country, not just land. To guard his brothers and sisters in his homeland, to preserve the heritage, to preserve the culture, to preserve the civilization. These are the feelings they get in their mind. Sometime back, an young commando, I met an young commando. He was 22-year-old, just 22-year-old. He was a special commando. He was trained to be dropped behind enemy lines in an enemy country and operate singularly. He knew everything. He knew how to fly a helicopter. He knew how to swim, how to use all weapons, how to be camouflaged. All these things were known to him. I asked him, what inspired you to become a commander? To become a soldier itself is difficult. And to that, you have become a commander. What inspired you to become a commander? I just asked him. And he said, if I win, tricolor will flutter highly. Otherwise, I will be wrapped in tricolor. Just a 22-year-old boy, he was telling this to me. This is the inspiration. So this should come to our mind. All of us cannot become soldiers, but we can soldiers in our own field. With the mind of that sacrifice, that I am serving the society, I am serving the country, we should work. That is actually the spirituality. Next comes socially harmonious. We have seen so much vociferous tendencies in us. On so many issues we will be quarreling, we will be fighting. For the past 1 week, day in and day out, it is about Kaveri between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Is it not? Both the states require, both the farmers require water. But the politicians don't worry about water, they worry about how to fight. So that is the problem. So we have to think about these aspects. All things that make us divided, that should go. That is socially harmonious. And regarding a repository of knowledge, so many people have spoken, and we have become a both educational and health conscious hub in our whole world is looking at us for so many things. All these things, repository of knowledge and all those things, we are going to become economically strong. And today we are becoming economically strong. Because we are becoming economically strong, the world is also respecting us. Because even for a army to be very effective, the country should be economically very strong. So these are the aspects. So in these four aspects, our younger generation has to take. And we who are slightly elder to younger generation, I am very, very old, that is different. But there are so many slightly elder people here. We have to educate our youngsters that we should serve the nation. That's the most important thing. In whatever field they are working, they have to be taught. And Disha teaches this only. It teaches know your country, know your culture, and know yourself. Understanding ourselves. What is my aim? Is it a successful life or a purposeful life? So that is the most important. I don't say we don't want success. We want success. But the success should be towards purposeful life. That is the most important thing that we have to learn. I will just quote an example how sometimes we will be misled. I have a friend who is a great educationist. He is running many institutions. I had gone to the valedictory of their 10th standard students program, and he was telling that we should have great aims and other things. And the educationist, he spoke that, you see, I dreamt, you should have dreams, he told. And he said, I once dreamt that I should have an Audi car. So now I am possessing a Audi car. That is why you should aim. That is what he told. See, it was a 10th standard convocation, and he was an educationist. He was a very good educationist. He is running so many schools, and he is helping hundreds of poor students without taking fees or anything. But in spite of that, in his mind it came that one should possess an Audi car, and that is something great. So that is it. Afterwards, I spoke. I spoke about how this institution has been built by him, how it was his aim. After that, many 10th standard students and their parents came to me and said, sir, we very much appreciate your talk. That is what she should have told. So this is the thing. Many times we will be misled. The younger generation will be misled by these things. So we have to make them that their life should be purposeful. And I will quote another example. Sometime back, we had I was talking to Professor Kasturi Rangan, who was the chairman of ISRO. And he narrated one incident. When he was the chairman of ISRO, he addressed many training students, training engineers who had recently joined ISRO. He was with, thank you. So he was talking to them, and he told them, while addressing them, he said that you see, you should think, your proficiency, your skills, everything should be to the standard of NASA. NASA was something great. Even today it is great. American destiny. It should be like that. Then one young engineer stood up and he said, 1 minute, sir. And he said that, sir, instead of thinking that our skills and everything should be according to NASA engineers, shall I say one thing, that we will perform in such a manner that NASA wants to copy us. See, this spirit is required in our younger generation. Then only it becomes Vikasit Bharat. As we said, our GDP also will go, our technological skills will go, we will be leaders in every aspect of life. So that is what we have to teach our younger generation. So this we have to remember. And when this happens, then Bharat becomes Vishwa Guru. We don't want to become a superpower. We know what has become. When a country becomes a superpower, what happens to it, we know. What happened to Britain, which ruled 3/4 of the world? It was known as an empire where sun never sets. Because it had empire in the east, it had empire in the west. So naturally, sun used to be always shining on the British Empire. But what happened to Britain? Economically, it is below our country today. So today, what is happening to US? A technological giant. So if we want to become Vishwaguru, as I said, we should go together, both Samutkarsha as well as Vishrayas. We should preserve all our values. The younger generation has to preserve our values, our family traditions. All these things has to be preserved. This is what Disha is trying to teach. This is what all of us has to try to teach our younger generation. So that what happened just a week ago in Delhi and what the so-called Gen Z people spoke. They are not representing the entire Gen Z. It was a small fraction which represented Gen Z, and they spoke so much and created anarchy. See, all these revolutions, satyagrahas, these are all okay. And in a democracy like our country, all these things are required if you want to express something. The protest and all these things are part of democracy, but it should not cross the limit. That is the most important thing. Because of the narratives and so many things, it created an anarchy. And Ambedkar, Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji, when he handed over the written constitution to the president of the Constituent Assembly, he gave a speech for 1.5 hours. He spoke continuously for 1.5 hours. And that in 1.5 hours, he used the word, these things. He said, the satyagrahas, the revolutions, the protests, all things may be part of democracy, but they should not cross the limit. If they cross the limit, I will say it is the grammar of anarchy and country will lose everything. I am worried about it, he said, Ambedkar. So this is what's happening. The very words, the sentences, the speeches, what happened last week when we hear how these narratives and speeches are going to train our youngsters, that is the most important aspect. So that is why we have got a responsibility. When we come to meet our youngsters and so many people, we should educate them about our country, our values, and our spiritual heritage. And first thing, nation is first, and everything else is next. So this is to be taught. With these few words and with one vakya, that is with one sentence, I will close my. We should always think the pinnacle of the glory of our country. Param Vaibhavanne Pametva Swarashtra Namaste.